After 10 years in the corporate world, having a really successful job, I was at a place where I was feeling super uninspired, just not connected and aligned to who I was authentically. And I made a transition into starting to go internal and know myself better. And through a variety of spiritual practices, I began to change my life and move into a place where I was living truly authentically. And today I just want to give you the 8 things from incorporating just more spirituality from a wide variety of things into my life that came out of that, and how it helped me move from working for somebody else in a corporate career to having multiple companies and living day-to-day life inspired, energized, and excited, being in complete control of my own life and how I feel day to day. So here are the 8 things. The first thing is I stopped overthinking. So when I started a daily meditation practice, and I started understanding the concept of seeing my thoughts from the observer perspective, I could pull myself out of the past and not be so in the past all the time on mistakes I made, or maybe I should have done this at that point, or regrets from certain things, or out in the future seeking some sort of outcome. So I just moved into the present moment and I operated from that place. And it was much more comfortable not having the weight of past occurrences and then expectation on myself. The second thing was I actually just got in touch with myself. So I started asking these bigger questions. Who am I at my core after spending a large part of my adult life pursuing this set of external framework, this external idea of success? Like, here's what I should do at certain points in my life. I started asking myself the most simple questions, like, who am I? What would I enjoy doing every day? And what truly gets me feeling excited about and passionate about life? And starting to move my focus to those areas. Number 3, I actually started dropping outcome altogether. So kind of like the moving into the present moment in the first point, stop overthinking. I started not thinking about outcome. I started to trust the greater universe when I was starting to move from this place of alignment and excitement. And I said, if I'm moving from this place and it feels energetic and inspired, the universe is working for me in that place, and it's going to put me where I need to be. So I don't need to have these goals. I don't need to be out in the future anymore. I'm just going to trust, and I'm going to operate from that place. And the idea of just dropping, like achieving certain things at a certain place in time, was like freedom. It was liberating. So that was number 3. Number 4 was I started just being more authentic to myself. I started just telling people who I was, as opposed to like having conversations with certain people and wondering what they would be thinking about me and what's the right thing to say, especially like in a work environment. You're always trying to put yourself in this position where you're thinking about people's perception of you and what they think success would be and how you get to that place. I started telling people who I was and what I was feeling and thinking and where I wanted to go with my life and what was exciting to me. And I was surprised to see at first that people immediately responded better to that, because in that level of authenticity, they not only hear it and see it, but it's an energetic transmission when you're operating in that authenticity, right? They feel it and they start to be more authentic in their own selves. It starts to bring out their own authenticity. So I was more authentic to myself. The 5th thing was I believed that I could take risk. Kind of back to that other point about trusting in the universe, I started to expand that and think, well, if I'm truly doing what I'm excited about, and I feel like I'm going to be supported in all ways by something greater, pursuing this aligned, energetic path, and I'm going to start taking risk and doing what I want to do. So I ultimately ended up stepping out and starting to build businesses, my own business, off of a small business that I'd started. But I started to, every time this fear, this human state of emotion and fear would come back to me, I'd start to move right into more of my higher self and my soul state and say, no, this is going to work out. The universe is supporting me. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm excited about that. And that is the right path intuitively. And it's going to work out. So I'm going to take risk to find what I want out of this life and truly be excited about it. That's number 5. Number 6 is I started seeing and feeling more synchronicities. I think part of this was because I was meditating on a daily basis and I was moving more into this present moment. And I just started connecting with the energy of things around me. And I just started seeing like certain things repeat over and over again. Or if I was pursuing a path that felt exciting, certain people would come into my life just out of the blue and just dots started connecting. So, Neville Goddard will calls this like the bridge of incidences or something similar to that, where like you're in this aligned energetic path, manifesting what you want, and things start to move into that alignment. You recognize them for what they are. So these synchronistic events, if you want to call it that. The seventh thing is I just followed my gut and intuition without question. So as opposed to like this thing we do, we're always overly analytical with our brain and we're doing all this calculus in our head and like, all right, what's the right decision? We're weighing all these things up and down. I started to just move with my gut and intuition. I wouldn't even really think about stuff. I was like, does it feel right or does it feel wrong? And if it felt right, I would move toward it. And the craziest part about that is I would even just move toward it if it's like the human stuff started to come in again and it was feeling really risky, or like I was having to spend money to do something to build a business. I just would ignore all of it and say, if that's what my gut's telling me to do, that's what I'm going to do. And again, things just started aligning around me. The last and eighth thing was I started to be able, because I was more intuitive with myself, I started to be able to recognize other people's authenticity better. And also when other people were just, hiding things or trying to, not in a bad way, but they weren't quite their authentic self. So I could see their motivations and things. And it just started helping me understand people from that perspective. And it's actually a great thing in the big perspective of things, because I started to understand people for where they were in their journey more and be sympathetic and empathetic to that, which felt amazing to be able to see people from the place where they were and to be comfortable with that and to try to be supportive of that in that place where they were. So these are the 8 things. I would say that they were drastically helpful and amazing overall in terms of helping me make this transition from this place that didn't feel inspired and authentic to me to moving in line with my authentic self and feeling much more fulfillment, joy, and excitement on a daily basis. I hope this is helpful for you, and I wish you luck in your journey. I'll talk to you soon.